Premier Business FM. The sound of success.
It's the Morning Drive, growth and careers, business and personal development. And our main topic for the next 40, 50 minutes or so is going to be why mentoring and, of course, experience, why it matters so much. So back in the studio, David Mackenzie from Mackenzie Jones is here. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Good
Nice
to
to be
back in the room. Also, we were talking yesterday, and I said I'd like to talk about this, and you said, right, okay, fine. And I was reading your latest LinkedIn blog. I'll come to that. But you sent another topic, and I want to just mention this because I want to save this for next time because I love this.
I'm wondering what you're going to say on this.
No, it's very positive. Well, so far it's positive. Late interns.
Oh yes, yeah.
Career change people.
Yeah.
So, do you remember that movie? What was the movie? It was Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, yes.
Yeah.
The Intern.
It's a 70-year-old guy. It's called The Intern, exactly, and goes back to work. But I love the idea of that because sometimes I think, just want to be a barista. Or, I take these notions. Whenever I drive out of the Emirates, my wife's there, I'm always like, we could move here.
So what would you do if you retired today and you had enough money to do whatever you wanted to do?
What I do? Stare into space on a balcony with a cup of coffee. I don't.
Career goals.
There you go. Hashtag goals. That's the way I want to live. No, how much money have I got in this scenario?
Enough that you don't need to worry about paying your DIWA.
Okay, so could I invest into little businesses and help people? That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to. I always like the idea of saying, I'd like to encourage people to do things, whatever it is, because I worked out far too late last week that what you should do in your life is what you like.
Yes.
If you can. I mean, not everybody gets the opportunity, but if you can do what you like, it's far easier, and I think you get more from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage my sons to that. Hence, one's now a Marine after getting a 2-1 at university.
Hence, nobody followed you into the business.
Exactly. I actually asked my two boys, look, I'm getting a bit older now, still a ninja, but would you like the business? And they both went, yeah, no.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Well, they've had no interest in it.
It's not their thing.
One obviously one's a grad and for Porsche, and the other one's a Marine, and they both absolutely love their jobs. I mean, especially the one that works at Porsche. He loves cars. He got the best job in the world. Got rejected by every other company, but he got one at Porsche. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's worth sort of doing that if you can. Where was I going with that?
No, you're saying about
idea was if I could ever get to a point where I think I love the idea of people starting businesses and working hard. I don't have a great belief in a real estate portfolio. That's not for me. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he's really keen on coming in and talking about his real estate portfolio, and it was really hard to be enthusiastic. Unfortunately, it's just not my thing. But I love the idea of encouraging people to start things and to grow businesses and to employ people, and it would be good to be able to do that. Not that maybe I never.
No,
will,
but I think, that flips into this mentee thing and mentor thing in many ways. And I think you've got to remember, over the years you work, you build up a certain knowledge, experience. You've been through bad times, good times, and people entering the workplace have never had those experiences. So when you go, do you remember the GFC? I was in high school. But now I'm starting to run a company. What happens? I'm not worried about disaster recovery. I'm not worried about if I have no cash because I'm just going to go for it. They need people like you to go, actually, what you do need to do is have more of a long-term view because this could happen, this will happen, etc.
Yeah, okay. You need kind of old man, head on shoulders mentality at times, don't you? It does help.
I think honestly, the one thing I found...
Or old woman.
Oh, yeah.
Old
I'm
person.
just about to hire a lady into my company. She's 52 years old. And she said to me the other day, I'm really struggling to get interviews with recruitment companies. I said, why? You've got a great CV. You're smart. You're well presented. She goes, because I'm 52. Now, we've got a 63-year-old. We've got a 58-year-old. That's me. I just realised as soon as I said that's actually me.
It's just that you were like, I'm going to be 60 in 2 years. I know.
And we've got 40s and 30s and we've got 20s, etc. But we've always looked at people, no matter what their age profile, what experience can they bring to our organisation? Because our youngsters need to learn from people who have been through it before so that they get more experience. It's like a fast-track experience in many ways.
Yeah. And it's also, culturally, I think it's a good thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just that kind of wider breadth of conversation around the gossip around the water cooler is a bit different.
Apart from
60-year-olds.
Films is just lost on them.
Do you think so?
Also, do you remember as kids, right?
Maybe.
Do you remember fried onion rings? You remember Kiora adverts? All our cultural references are from adverts. Whereas you ask them these days, nobody has a cultural reference about, Kiora, Kiora, me and my dog, that one. Do you remember the one?
For years, I thought it was Kia Ora, by the way. And then I got put right on that by a New Zealand gentleman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But nobody remembers, let's hope his chips is chips. Do you remember that one? Do you remember that? Beans, beans, Heinz, those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, maybe that's going to come back because advertising is going through this cycle. This is total sidebar, but advertising is going through this cycle at the moment. That we had a guy in the other day who said, "Look, it's going to be much more about real connections, real experiences. Somebody in a supermarket, that kind of thing going forward because of it's the cycle thing, isn't it? I suppose." This is getting very philosophical.
I know. We've gone off track, haven't we? As normal.
The late interns thing we'll save, but I love the idea of that. So I need to think about it. But
it's a brave thing.
It's a very brave thing to do.
And I'm not sure companies here are geared up to do it. Because I think if you or me rocked up to an advertising agency, say, look, we've been doing radio and I've been doing recruitment for X amount of years, we'd like to learn to do account management in an ad agency. I'm pretty sure most of the senior people in the agencies would go, no. So you've got to be of the mindset where you can see the skill set that person's bringing that can add value to your company. This dovetails straight in with the mentor or mentee thing as well.
Well, it does, but I'm going to head back to that movie for a moment, the Anne Hathaway thing, because it was her shock at Robert De Niro sat there, getting ready for stuff.
In his suit and tie.
In his suit and tie, and it was this total career change moment, and she was not very accepting of that and was quite dismissive of him until she realised that were things that...
But I think 90% of people would be. Honestly, I don't think if an older person walked into an organisation now and they've chosen to make a career change, whether the bosses of those companies would really immediately get it. I think that the ones that have got vision, who can see the future, absolutely. But you've got to remember, in this current climate, there are lots of people who want a career shift. The problem is, in this current climate, companies are looking at cutting costs. Yeah. So are they going to hire an intern with experience? And I believe you should always pay interns, by the way. Manuri, my intern, always gets paid. She's come back to us, by the way. She left and came back.
Just when you thought she was out, you pull her back in.
So pleased, she's brilliant. But I think so bosses can see this as an opportunity where you can hire a really experienced person on an intern salary. The amount of benefit you can get for that could be amazing.
I'm with you on that. So we'll explore that at another point. Also, the other thing, before we get to mentoring, and it's why I thought mentoring would be a topic for today, because it comes up in your piece. It's not what your piece is about, but your latest blog. So your blog is something that we touched on last week as well. Yeah. It's very much that the idea that you need to stay in touch with people and how important it is to communicate and stay,
even more so now,
if you like.
Even more so now when people are struggling, people are concerned, and even senior people are going, if I get let go, what's going to happen to me next?
Do you know what was interesting to me was you talk about Mackenzie Jones. And you say that we've always been old school since day one, and have always focused on staying in touch. And you're honest about it, and you say it's not easy.
No.
But what gets me about it is the fact that being in contact with people, communicating with people, is considered old school now. We've got this kind of mobile phone etiquette thing of if you don't message first, you shouldn't really be calling somebody because you might be disturbing them.
I'll give you a good example of this. You go into a restaurant these days and look how people are interacting. People are eating their food while looking at their phones.
What's the first thing you do? You take a photo of your food now.
I have to because my son, the Marine, is a foodie. When I go on a flight, if I'm travelling business, which is very rare, I have to take a picture of the menu. He likes to go on a gastronomic journey through me.
Okay. It's just the look on your face that you did a double take there, just for the record. Well, fair enough. But if that's what you like.
But you go into a restaurant and people aren't talking anymore because I think we've lost the ability to engage with people. And when it becomes difficult, the conversation dries up. People go onto their phones. It's almost. I see people. I saw a couple in a restaurant the other day, and beautiful-looking people chatting away. As soon as the food came, they both got on their phones and they were eating their food and occasionally would show each other the screens, but didn't talk. And I was a bit dismayed at thinking that that's life. If there's a real lack of communication. I think if you look at the workplace now, one of the things that we can solve a lot of problems with is by talking to people. Get them to understand what's going on. I'm talking to my team today about what's going on this month. I'm doing a town hall about what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening to Mackenzie Jones, what the future is for us.
Right.
And I've got to say, not all of that's going to be positive. But my view is I should say that because at least they understand what I'm thinking, what I'm doing to get out of this situation.
Well, there's an element of, isn't there, talking things through helps you to face a situation, helps you to prepare for a situation. And if you bury your head in the sand, the situation is still there.
But I think people don't sometimes face up to reality very much. And I think that the advent of social media means you can bury yourself in reels and what somebody else is doing, somebody else's existence. And I think that the biggest thing I think has happened over the last 10 years is the younger generation, certainly my kids' age, are losing the ability to interact with people on a one-on-one basis. I don't think that's everyone, by the way. My kids don't. They're very anti-social media. I don't know why, because I'm quite social media savvy. But I look at people and you can almost see that their first reaction when they sit down is not to chat to the waiter or chat to somebody else. It's to pick up their phone and have their coffee, and they don't read a book. They literally sit on their phone and scroll. This could go on a long time, but you're right. But I'm thinking from a business perspective that the one thing I've learned as you become more senior in business, the one thing that's made me in my industry a bit more special is that I can speak to people, and I make a point every day. I speak to 5 clients. So I speak to 20.
So is that like an unwritten aim for the day?
5 clients a day.
Were you kind of mentally ticking it off as you? Really?
Some days I'll do 3 if I'm busy, and I'll do 6 on the next day. I try and do 20 a week.
Always a check-in.
Hi, how are you? I spoke to one client the other day. She's in Thailand. She goes, God, you're the only person that's reached out to me. I said, how are you? How are you coping? She goes, I'm on a beach in Thailand. How do you think I'm coping? And I said, look, I'm keen to talk to you about business. She goes, actually, I've got 3 roles for you. When I get back, can I give you a call?
Wow.
Happy days.
See, if you did that to me, I'd think, what do you want?
Yeah, a lot of people do, but because if you know me, you know what I'm like, and I check in constantly. My view is that each of my senior people should get a check-in probably 6 times a year minimum.
Fair enough. Okay, so really, that's what your whole thing is about. So, right at the end of your blog, moral of the story: keeping in contact will always pay dividends for both the candidate and the recruiter.
Yeah.
But it's how you do it as well. Because you're quite. I don't mean smooth. Smooth would be. I don't mean that in a smarmy way, but you're able to do it in a genuine way.
I'm an extrovert, and I'm very conscious that most of the population are not. I'm a reluctant extrovert. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes I don't want to do these things, but I force myself to do them. Fair enough. And there are some people I don't want to talk to because I don't particularly get on with them socially, personally, but they're great clients. So I think in that respect, I will phone up a client to keep in contact. We may never connect on a personal level, but we connect on a business level. So you've always got to remember you don't have to be that person's friend.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you're looking at me there. I don't like that piercing gaze. But I thought, again, I feel like every time you come in here, you write a blog, I'm like, oh, I like your blog. But I did like that because I think the keeping in contact thing, particularly when you haven't for a while.
Yes.
You know, how many times have you said to somebody, I haven't seen you for ages. Oh, we should catch up. We should do this. And there should be less of that.
I haven't seen my mate Rohit for 7 months. I messaged him the other day. Do you fancy going on the bikes down the beach this morning? And he went, yeah, brilliant. We had a lovely ride, caught up with him and his family, what he's doing job-wise. And he's having a bit of a problem because he's looking for a job. So it was a really nice segue to engage with a friend I haven't seen for a long time.
It's an admirable trait, I think. So, well, let's move from that. It's a positive position, I think, to mentoring and experience. Two of maybe the most powerful accelerators of growth, you could argue. Multipliers, not just nice to have. When you get them together, I think there's a huge difference can be made.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think there's a really good article on the. Do you remember NatWest in UK?
The bank.
Yeah, natwestgroup.com. There's a really good article I found it a couple of days ago when we were thinking about this, about mentors and mentees and how to identify people and how to work that process.
Right.
Really good article. We can share it somewhere, I'm sure, somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's very good. It talks about why you should get one, how to identify them, how to work with them, and the outcomes. 4 things, basically.
Mm-hmm. I've got a few things I want to put to you here
Go for it.
about why mentoring and experience matters so much. And I'm interested, I'll make some points and then you can add or subtract or agree or disagree as we kind of work through this. Mentoring gives you shortcuts that experience can't. It teaches you, experience teaches you through sort of trial and error. You've got to make the mistakes to learn from them, obviously. But a mentor teaches you through their trial and error.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of that's the shortcut thing. So what that means is, I've got 4 things here. You potentially can avoid the mistakes that have already been paid for by the mentor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poor person. You learn in months, perhaps, what took them years. If you listen, the point is obviously taking it on board. Faster clarity, because it's like potentially a light bulb moment. And you don't kind of have to go down those little turns in the road, the unnecessary detours. So it kind of collapses time.
Yeah. But also, it's a really good, if you've got a problem, who do you typically turn to? You wouldn't sometimes turn to your boss because you feel like you're exposing yourself a bit more about your lack of experience or lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You'd turn to your friends who probably aren't qualified to give you a decision. You'd turn to family members. Again, similar thing. Your mum's not going to be able to tell you how to do things unless your dad's in the same industry as you. So a mentor is really good because you can mesh them going, look, I've got this situation at work. If you've got 5 minutes, I can just run it past you. And it's a very good sounding board for an issue.
That's right. And if you've picked the right mentor, we'll come to picking mentors later. That's another key thing in this. But if you have the guts to go to somebody and say, look, I really would like to use you as a sounding board, to use you as a mentor, if you can bridge that kind of gap and you get the right person, you have hopefully, if you've picked the right person, somebody with no skin in the game.
Yes.
Who is able to be impartial, is able to separate themselves from the emotions that you may be running through about, I don't know, a decision or a career move, whatever it is. And I think that's a really important thing to imagine. But it's also finding that person, isn't it?
And that's the difficult thing because I've been a mentor to quite a few people. I'm not a mentor to anyone at the moment. And a couple have asked me in the last couple of years to be mentors, and I've said no.
Okay.
And there's a reason why. I don't have the time to do it at the moment, and I don't have the time to do it properly. So, plus also the 2 people that wanted me to mentor them weren't the right people for me to mentor.
Okay.
That makes sense.
In what way?
They were in my industry, different company. Their reasons for asking me to be a mentor were the wrong reasons. The reasons they were asking me, because I'm a senior person in the recruitment, most people know of me. I think it was more a question of, I know David and David's helping me. Whereas the mentor I had about 2 years ago was in recruitment. And they said to me, I don't want to announce that I'm mentoring with you. I don't want anything to be talked about. I just want you, once a month, if you can commit to it, for me to just give you a sound check on my career, where I'm going, and if I have any issues, do you mind if I WhatsApp you? Not call you, WhatsApp you, because I know you're busy. She was amazing. She's done really well, actually. Not down to me, but she's just really good. She was at a very junior stage in her recruitment career, within a client, not an agency, by the way.
Okay.
So
the motivation for asking you was entirely different to the 2 people subsequently.
It was because I was...
It was more of a connection thing.
Yeah, because I'm a well-known recruiter in this industry. I've been a long time. Most people know of me. It was almost like, well, David's mentoring me, so, if he's doing it...
I'm going to post about this. I'm going to...
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that's not right.
And I don't think... Honestly, I was going to say, I think you're overplaying that a bit, but fair enough. I think when you choose a mentor, you need to choose it for a number of reasons. Maybe we go on to that in a minute, but...
Well, we will. Yeah. There's a number of things to talk about. So we were mentioning that mentoring can offer you a few shortcuts in experience terms. You can avoid some mistakes if they've already been made. Second point I wanted to make to you is this. Mentors give you perspective you can't see yourself. You know, when you're very close to, I don't know, your own career and you're following your path, and we can be a little bit, I suppose, tunnel vision, really, can't we? Mentors, if you've picked the right person, once again, can kind of widen your perspective, offer you a different picture.
Yes. Yeah. I had a mentor once when I was at Monster.com, and I was the MD of the region.
Was it a thing, though, all those years ago?
Yeah.
Was it really? Wow.
It's called your Colonel. And it was he was really good because I used to go to him with issues, and he said, you do realise being a mentor is not about you fighting with problems. It's about me guiding you on your journey through your career. And I said to him, I don't need that. I'm doing really well. And he goes, you are now, but at some stage you're going to trip. And you need somebody like me there to tell you when you're about to trip.
Did that check your momentum?
No,
did that make
massive trip.
Really? Okay.
Fell, smashed my head against the wall, and had to reboot myself. Yeah. I was. I think
was a moment.
I believed I was pretty better than I was because all around me was telling me I was really good, and he was very good about telling me that. You know, there's a classic thing in Roman literature. When Caesar came into Rome and a triumvirate, there was a slave behind him saying in his ear, "You are not a god. You are not a god."
Oh,
so it's a very interesting thing that it's a very hard thing to admit that, I think, in many ways, because when you are, you're doing extremely well, your perception is you're really good. You almost need somebody behind the scenes to go, "You are, but look at what you're not doing."
It's something that most of us don't do very well.
No.
The self-examination thing, or looking at, what did I do there that I could have done better? And it's one of the things in this profession, actually, that is good. I get loads of stuff wrong, but over the years, you get, it's called air checking, and you'll be dragged in and, forced to listen to what you've been doing.
Oh, really?
And it depends where you are. It depends on the radio station you work at or the TV station you're at. But you tend to be air checked it's usually quarterly. And there are occasions when outside consultants will be brought in. And what they will do is tear apart your introduction to a program or an interview or a link or whatever it is. And there are times when it's really difficult and it's quite hard to take and it's brutal.
Oh, that is brutal.
But it's no more brutal than the text machine in front of you when somebody tells you what they really think of something you've just said. You have to deal with that.
I was on a program the other day doing a radio interview, and I happened to be beside the text machine, and it came up.
I know.
Along the lines of, David doesn't know what he's talking about.
and you think, but then everybody's opinion is valid, and it's fine. It's just what somebody says.
I think actually,
that's okay.
That person was factually correct.
Well, there you go.
So I was like, fair enough, please explain where you, and they explained. I went, yeah, good point. I think you're right.
But it is good because it forces you to examine what you've done and to think, because we go through thinking, yeah, I'm great, I've argued that brilliantly and I'm perfect at this, and actually none of us are. So the realization that, you have somebody, i.e. a mentor, around you who's maybe going to tell you the truth,
yes,
which is what your friends should be doing. But
your friends don't.
Well, very often your real friends do.
Yeah, oh God, mine do. Mine are savage.
Are they brutal with you?
Yeah,
well, there's a lot to be brutal about.
Exactly. One of them did say to me the other day, I heard your interview, and I didn't think you were as good as you usually were. And I went, why? And he said, because of these reasons. I went, fair enough.
Reasonable.
Yeah, they were wrong.
Were they? So you do need a mentor. That's the point.
No, but the Julius Caesar thing's always stuck with my arts teacher told me when I was back at boarding school when I was like 12. And he said, never be afraid to be wrong. And he said the Julius Caesar thing, because Caesar was the biggest, he was the most powerful person in the world at the time. He was having a triumph, which is the big celebration when they come into Rome.
Right.
And he had a slave behind him whispering in his ear. Very, very clever.
I've never heard that before. I like that.
Yeah.
So perspective is really important.
Yeah.
Keeping it real, I suppose,
Yes.
in a sort of modern parlance. So when you're in the middle of your journey, your path, your business, direction, it's kind of hard to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because focus is obviously so important. So mentors can then look at you and say, look, there's a blind spot there. Think about that. It can challenge the assumptions that you make or the decisions that you make. Push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone to make you.
And it's a safe space. You can say to your mentor, I've done this. I think I should have done that. So you can. It's almost like a vacuum. You can talk about issues you've faced and how you've handled them. And if a mentor's good, they'll say, yeah, you probably could have done it slightly differently.
And strategic as well. Rather, most of us we kind of react to situations. Most of us are not that proactive, I guess, or lots of people. And a mentor can see that. Hopefully, the right mentor can see that. Can see what you could grow into.
Well, I think now is a very important time for people to take a check, because the market is tough. It's going to be tough for the next 6 months, say. Hopefully, it'll get better. You are going to be in a position where you're going to have to, if you're a senior leader, you're going to have to show your business how you are going to get this company out of this problem. And you've got to take your people with you, because they will follow you if they believe you. Telling them means they won't follow you. So as a mentor, you've almost got to, if I had a mentor now, and probably should have one actually, I would say, right, this is what I'm going to do in the next couple of months. These are my outcomes. This is why I'm doing it. And it'd be really good to see what their thought process is. I don't know how, actually interesting. I've had mentors, but I've not had a mentor in the last 20 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and it's not because I'm a senior person. It's because I've not identified a person that I've really thought is amazing that I would connect with. There's lots of really good people, lots of clients that are amazing, lots of, I've got a mate called John Sanner. He's a futurologist. He's an amazing guy. He's a global thinker. But I need to have, and this is when you choose a mentor, you need to be able to, when you go through this process of finding a mentor, you need to go through like an interview process. You need to see 6 or 7 of them. Don't pick the first one. They have to fit with you socially, fit with you commercially, fit with you personality-wise, but also challenge you.
So, is there an interview process for a mentor?
I believe so. Absolutely.
Okay.
You as somebody looking for a mentor should go through a process of identifying what you want from a mentor. Do you want guidance? Do you want leadership? Put the things down. Identify the 5 or 6 people you want, and then literally sit with them and go, well, why would you be a good mentor? Have you got time? What's your diary like? What's your commitment like? Where have you ever mentored somebody before? Can I speak to that person you mentored?
Okay, so my guess is, look, I've never had a mentor either. I've never had a mentor. You've had some, but not for some time.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say maybe that's something I should be thinking about at the moment. We'll come back to that.
Just thinking about that now, actually.
But maybe it's just this conversation. You'll get away and you'll think, oh.
No, I think as I've got more experienced in my career, and I'm a crossroads, as you well know now, in my career, and I think it's a good time for me to engage with somebody that probably is going to be younger than me, that has a different perspective on life.
Well, I was going to ask that. If at what stage, when should you be thinking about looking for that mentoring and looking to benefit from somebody else's experience? At what stage of your career? And at what stage should the mentor be in their career? How much older should ideally a mentor be, or younger?
I think when you start your career, you'll start, and you won't even think about this for 5 years. But I think at that point you ought to be thinking, right, I'm convinced that recruitment is my career. Mm-hmm. Who are the key people in this industry I think do really interesting things? Can I connect up with them, and will they be my mentor? So I think from about, let's say, 30 onwards, you should constantly have some sort of mentor in your life, whether they're active or passive, it doesn't matter. But you always need a sounding board. And I think for me, I'm thinking, because this has stimulated the conversation that I should be having myself. Maybe I should find somebody now and go, right, what's the next stage of my career?
Okay, but you said somebody younger there. Is
think
somebody
so.
younger the right person to ask?
I don't know, but I'm going to, now I'm thinking about it, I'm going to probably,
Well, it's perspective, I suppose.
yeah,
isn't
I'm
it?
going to put together a list of 6 or 7 people I think are good. And I might have different mentors for different things. Somebody might be more commercial, somebody might be recruitment based. I don't know. It's an interesting one, actually. I think what you've got to do is you've got to think, right, I want a mentor to help me in my career. So what do I need in my career that a mentor can help me with? Have they got experience in what I do? Tick. Have they got longevity in their career? Have they made mistakes? Have they done good things? Tick. Do I culturally and personally fit with them? And that's a key thing, by the way, because picking somebody you like isn't necessarily the right mentor. Picking somebody that makes you think and makes you question your decisions is the right way of doing it.
You have to separate yourself, don't you, of approaching somebody because, I don't know, it's not about currying favor, or it's about picking the person that will be, I think it's much more about the person that will be honest with you and direct with you.
Also, what are they going to get out of it?
Well, I was thinking that when you were talking there, what do you offer a mentor in order to make this? Because the relationship has to work both ways.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is hard.
I think
yeah.
what actually, there's 2 things as having been a mentor, and you mentioned this in the very beginning. It's about giving something back, and that's a philanthropic thing. It's a soul thing. It's about giving back to your industry or to your whatever.
There's a point at which I was listening to a podcast this morning, and one of the presenters said exactly that. You know, I'm at this age now. This guy's in his early 60s, I think. It's 2 musicians talking, but it was just, I'm doing stuff for, it was a venue in London, I think, and they were trying to raise money for the arts and for arts education. And he said, I'm at this age where I want to give back. And it is very much, I think, for a lot of people who would mentor people or would want to mentor people, it's about being able to offer something to give back.
And I'd love to do that. I mean, when I leave the Middle East or at whatever point, or when I leave Mackenzie Jones, I want to be in a situation I can influence people who are beginning their journey in recruitment or midway through, so they can learn everything that I've done in the Middle East, the mistakes I've made, the things I've done well, what I would change. And I think if I could give them a shortcut to some of those things, for me it'd be great. The other part of the mentor bit is as you get older, you become more reflective, I think, as an individual.
Probably true.
And I think in those times, it's really good to reflect on maybe in your current career as an MD of a recruitment company, some of the things I'm doing now that mentee might say, well, why are you doing that?
Yeah, okay. I mean, most of my reflective stuff is, why did I do that? It's usually the face palm. Did I really say that?
Oh, I do that. Sometimes I'll have my first coffee and I'll go, I did that 10 years ago. Why did I do that? But again, if you can stop somebody doing one of those things or thinking about it before it hits you, fantastic.
Well, that's the experience side, isn't it? That is so crucial to this. What about the idea that mentors can open doors? And I'm not, I don't mean mentors opening doors to new positions or, the right club or whatever. It's just the fact that connections matter, as you have pointed out today already. But in terms of maybe recommending you if there is an opportunity, not putting you forward, it's just the idea that it can open doors in that direction, or maybe introducing you to the right people. Oh, you should meet this guy; he's great for, or she's,
But why do people do that?
Side.
And this is another benefit for having a good mentee: is as a mentor, you want to be seen as your peer group to be able to give stuff back to them.
Yes.
And if they go, well, I'm looking for this recruitment director for this company, I'll go, what about Tim? He's great. I've been working with him for 2 years. He's ex-company, he's ex-Mackenzie Jones. He gets it. He's ready for his move. You've saved that person time, effort. You've done a personal recommendation, and that's benefited you as the mentor.
It's how you handle that, isn't it? In that relationship, so that it's balanced and it's offering something back. If you're not expecting, but if there is a hope or a desire that it may open doors.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
That
shouldn't
balance.
Yeah, that shouldn't be the main goal. I think you've got to set your mentoring schedule out from day one. I will meet you 12 times a year, only 12 times. Once a month we'll meet up.
Okay.
Because I'm busy.
And you need to set a frequency
Absolutely.
for that. Okay.
And in that, we will have an hour and we will discuss whatever you want to discuss. If you have an issue, if you have a problem, WhatsApp me.
Okay.
So there's always the accessibility of that mentor.
It's almost like a sponsor.
It very similar,
yeah.
What it shouldn't be is we're going to meet weekly, because I don't know about you, my weeks are rammed. And there's no way I'm going to give enough time to that individual. If it's in my diary for once a month that I'm meeting whatever, Tim, then at least I can, as a mentor, I can prepare beforehand. What's he written on LinkedIn? What have his blogs been? What's he been doing? We talked about this last time. What's he done to resolve these things? At least you then have an agenda when your mentee comes and chats with you.
So if I asked you to mentor me and it's once a month and we agree on that, what's the protocol around it? Is it that you would meet in a neutral place, a cafe?
Yeah.
Who pays for the coffee? You know, all of the stuff.
Well, morally, I would say if you're
the mentee, you should pay for the coffee.
You should do. And I think meeting in a relaxed environment, this is not a business meeting.
No.
So meet in a relaxed environment, but be very clear you have 1 hour. Morning, afternoon, whatever the mentor is available, you fix that time. You make time. Never cancel the meeting.
Is that one of the rules that you live by in your business life as well?
I don't cancel meetings. I never push meetings. If I can't make a meeting, I'll tell you 2 or 3 days in advance.
Okay.
I will not do it 20 minutes before I'm sorry, something's come up. Nothing comes up that important. I've run massive groups. I've never been in a situation where something has come up where it means I've had to cancel a meeting. The only time was 9/11.
Probably an extenuating circumstance.
Very extenuating. Yes, but my point being, people in the Middle East are terrible. People cancel meetings on a whim because they can't be bothered, they've got something better to do, or they just have forgotten about it.
Well, sometimes you just get a better offer.
And that's wrong.
Which is poor.
Yeah, I mean, that's that. I judge that with my friendship group, the ones that, when I arrange to have breakfast with, turn up every time. The ones go, oh, I can't come, I've got something at work. No, you haven't. You've just found something better to do, or you're sleeping. My Spanish mate.
You're very cynical.
Always sleeping.
Always sleeping. Always on siesta time. Yeah, well,
Scorchio.
There's a stereotype for you. That's terrible. Duck. All right then. So let me ask you this: if you were to identify how the ways that you would. The things you need to do to pick the right mentor, because this is the real key to all of this. See, I would contend, maybe, that a mentor should be, generally speaking, 99% of the time older than you.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. There are some extenuating circumstances. If you're, professional athlete, maybe you want to talk to the world champion, but that's different. Older than you, generally speaking, in the same industry or in some way connected. Absolutely. So that you can connect experience-wise. But what else should you be looking for?
The culture fit, the personality fit.
You've said that a
do
couple
they
of times.
fit with you? Do you get a sense the mentor is interested in doing this, really wants to do it? Do they know, when you meet with them, you'll probably know them anyway. They will have investigated your LinkedIn profile. They would have probably asked people in the industry a bit about you. When they come and see you, see what they think about you. See what questions they ask you.
And see what they know about you as
exactly.
well.
I mean, it's like, I imagine it's like a date. When you go out and you know if somebody's interested in you not within the first 10 minutes, don't you? Well, I assume so back in 1980.
Back in Victorian times when children were still sent up chimneys?
I met my wife later than that, so it wasn't 1980. Do you know what I mean? It's the culture thing. When you walk into a room, you don't know anyone, you will work your way around and meet the different people. You immediately know who you're going to click with.
It's a remarkable thing, but you are right. So essentially, when you meet your mentor or a few of the mentors or people you're considering to be a mentor, you probably know. You may know before you go in, but you're.
And this way, you know in your heart you want Tim because he's got 25 years in this industry. He's done this company which you really admire, this company you really admire. He's doing this show now you really like. So what you starting your broadcast career, Tim's been through this all and now he's doing this. There's a lot you can give.
Right.
But what you need to do is you need to meet 5 or 6 of these people to make sure you've got the right one, because you might just have more than one mentor, by the way.
Well, that's the point. But also, you might be picking a mentor based on the fact that you like, or you perceive that you will like them,
Absolutely.
and that's maybe an easier route because you may get the answers that you kind of want to hear rather than the answers you need.
One of my clients, who I'm still friends with now, 20 years later, I first met her as the HRD for a tobacco company, and she was horrible, absolutely horrible.
Really?
She said to me, "I don't like recruiters. I don't want to deal with you." And she said, "I'm not. You can do some work for us, but I don't want to use you." And I said, "Okay, right. Well, this is a dead meeting, isn't it?" And she went, "No." I said, "Give me a chance to prove myself." And she gave me one chance. I did it, and now we are good friends now, 20 years later.
So do you think you've changed her? Did you have an effect on her mindset a little bit? Because that sounds like somebody that's been through some bad times with.
Yes, absolutely. She's actually a really lovely person. She's South African, so she's quite blunt, but she's a really nice person. She's got a very good soul, and she would be a brilliant person to mentor somebody because she's quite blunt. She's very direct. But she's got a very nice personality, and look at their family background. What are they? Do they have kids? Are they married? Do they give stuff back to charities? What do they do outside of work that makes them a good person? Are they a sports person? Are they competitive? You've got to really, really research this person before you take them as a mentor.
Okay, and hence the cultural fit is so
super important.
Okay,
and don't necessarily choose the same nationality as you. So typically we go for Europeans because we're European. Don't go for an Indian. Go for a Pakistani. Go for a Russian. Do somebody who's got a different slant on life.
I think that's pretty good advice. To choose somebody who is of a different nationality, obviously a little bit older, male or female. That I suppose that depends on lots of different things. It doesn't really. I'm not sure that has much of an impact.
No, women and men are equally as good at giving this advice. Women are probably better because they're less emotional.
Do you think so?
As in business-wise, I find women, are more emotional, less emotional, more emotional.
I was going to say that's why I did a double take there.
More emotional because they understand maybe some of the nuances of relationships, where if you've got a senior male that is driven hard, often they may not have understand how people have felt.
I'd go a little bit further now. I'd say women understand that there are nuances in relationships, full stop.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas I'm just like, I'm in a relationship. What's it like?
Love you.
That's exactly. It's like, that's what you need to say.
Even Farage is laughing at that one.
Farage is recently married. Got a lot to learn.
Oh,
but there you go.
I'm almost 30 years in.
Yeah.
I've got like a stripe, that when you get promoted in the army, my arm's full of stripes now.
You got a bunch of medals.
I have actually got a medal. Yeah,
you have. You got one of those. That's a different story. What else do you need to look for in a mentor?
I think you need to look at where you want to go with that mentor. So, do you want to improve your knowledge of the marketplace, your skills as an individual? The particular industry and how you would move up it. So you've got to figure out all those things. It's a comprehensive checklist, and I think ultimately you've got to choose a mentor because you want to get something out of it, and it's a very defined what that is. So, example, when I was at Monster, I wanted a mentor because I was restructuring Monster in Europe. I was under a huge amount of stress, and I was making decisions very quickly. So I said to this person, look, I don't know if I'm making these decisions with enough knowledge. I'm just making decisions. So I want to be able to come to you and say, look, I'm doing this. This is the outcome I want. What do you think about this the way I'm doing it? A lot of the time, she this was another lady, she said to me, look, you're too blunt on that, or you need to finesse that a bit, or I think the outcome of this conversation will be very different to what you expect. She was pretty much spot on.
And got it right, and you learned a great deal from it.
She was, I've had 3 mentors. She was one of my best, and she was much older than me. I was about 30. She was about 61, I think.
Right.
And she was just, the way she looked at things was very clear. Now I'm older, I understand how, she just didn't have any skin in the game. She didn't worry what I was doing. She didn't work for my company. She worked for the media and she worked for a big ad agency. She was their chief exec. But she was really keen to see someone like me progress up through the ranks. Unfortunately, she died last year, but she was a lovely woman, and she kept in contact with me all the way through from my 30s to my 50s.
So you really got something from it. And I guess if anybody's listening or watching this now and you think, well, this is not for me, but I feel like I'm in a place where I'm
stuck.
You feel stuck in some way. Maybe this is something that you could
And by
consider.
the way, your first couple of mentors won't work.
Okay.
You'll get it wrong. Don't worry about it. You will find somebody eventually.
Keep plugging.
Yeah, I just think you whenever in life, you're not splendid isolation. You're not in a situation where you know all the answers. Even me at my advanced career age, I still don't know all the answers. I need advice. I need guidance. I need people to talk to.
Don't say that out loud. You're here because you have the answers.
I make that bit up. Jazz, my CFO, is the MD of my company. I talk to him about everything because he has a very different perspective. He's not a recruiter.
Right.
He's a CFO, but he's the MD of one of our groups. He's brilliant because he doesn't think like a recruiter. He thinks like a finance guy. So when we talk, we have very different perspectives.
Jazz, you're an in-house mentor by the sound of things, which is maybe not a bad thing to have. The reason for talking about this now is because it is tough times and there are going to be tough days ahead. And I think maybe mentoring is one way of getting more
Absolutely.
in terms of perhaps career advancement or satisfaction, whatever it is you're looking for from a mentor. I just think it's an interesting thing to talk about.
I believe this is
particularly
my next blog.
There's something in it because there's a great deal to learn from people who've been through things. We know that, but translating that into a mentor in business is a leap for some people and something that a lot of people don't do.
Think from a you look at the military. The reason why the most seasoned people are the ones training you is because they've done it before.
Yeah, exactly right.
Same in business.
Yeah. No, it is exactly the same. Look, we're way over time, unfortunately. David Mackenzie is the CEO. He is the grand poobah. He's the heavy hitter at Mackenzie Jones.
Poobah.
I like that. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. This is Mirror Business FM.